Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my retro review. Tonight, we're going to talk a little about something that's not necessarily sports. I'm just giving some time to post the um, link. Hawaii Five-O was not. Now I'm talking about the original, the classic that ran from 1968 to 1980. Was a classic cop drama on CBS for 12 seasons. The new Hawaii Five-O is more along the lines of modern police whodunits with action, explosions, adventure, blah blah blah. But the original was more of a think process. It was more of a make you think, and there wasn't there wasn't the high speed chases and the explosions and the shootouts in every episode that the Steve McGarrett goes through now. Jack Lord as Steve McGarrett was more of a straight laced, uh, three piece wearing suit, investigate the whole thing using his mind over brawn that the newer Hawaii Five-O uses. I got into Hawaii Five-O because of the newer one. I was watching the newer one when it debuted back in 2010, and I posted about it on Facebook and had a coworker of mine say, if you like this, you really should watch the original to know what the original is all about. So I went out and I purchased season one, and it begins with this long introductory movie in the fall of '68, in which the character Wo Fat is introduced against Steve McGarrett, and it was brilliant. I had to get used to in my head that Kono was a guy instead of the beautiful girl that she is in the newer version, and that Dano wasn't this New Jersey tough talking cop, and that the task force of 1968 was an actual police agency and not more of a paramilitary organization as now. Once you get through all those differences and you just separate them as two entirely different universes, you tend to get into the story and really enjoy it. Well, anyway, Hawaii Five-O was gaining some steam on CBS. As CBS is moving away from shows like the Beverly Hillbillies and stuff and moving into more of what they would become in the 70s, more police procedurals and dramas like the Waltons and whatnot. On January 7th, 1970, they aired an episode entitled Bored, She Hung Herself, in which a model and her hippie boyfriend participate in all kinds of wild, outlandish, like, other than dope smoking, like there's one scene she walks in and he's hanging from a rope and then he climbs out of it, blah blah blah, whatever. Well, that particular scene, and then of course the scene in which she is found dead hanging from the rope, got the episode banned. Apparently some kids attempted to do this high of hanging themselves out of eroticism, or I don't know what it is, and somebody died. Or at least that's the urban legend, is that somebody had attempted it and died. So the episode never aired again, because even in 1970, there were snowflakes, or the term that would be people who whine and cry about things that they don't like, they don't agree with. So the episode never aired again. It's never been released on DVD. It's never been released digitally. But luckily, somebody back then had the foresight to set up a 1960s era video recorder camera, set it up on their TV, and record the episode. So the episode does exist and it is out there. It was on YouTube a couple years ago, although it's not now, as far as I know. It's been taken down. But I was able to get a hold of it, and I watched it tonight, and that's what I'm going to talk about. First of all, the episode itself is hum, blah blah blah. Even the famous line of "Bookum Dano" wasn't in there, and the killer reveal is very much a letdown. You go through this whole show of trying to figure out, did the hippie boyfriend kill the girl? As Jack Lord, Steve McGarrett is investigating with the help of her meddling, interfering father, who's a spoiler alert. Okay, in case you don't want to know what happened, you might want to stop this video now. Her meddling, interfering father, who is a therapist or psychologist, and he wants to get to the bottom of it, and he even goes so far as to conduct an investigation on his own and convince the hippie boyfriend that he did indeed kill his girlfriend, the guy's daughter, and confessed to it, recorded it. using a little 1960s era audio recorder. He brings that back to Steve, plays it for Steve, and Steve doesn't buy it. Says that confession will never stand up in court, and there's a big argument between the two. And Steve basically tells him to go off, do your own investigation, let me handle my case my way. So they come upon a photographer because the girl, the deceased, is a model, and this photographer who was not in the episode until this point is all of a sudden, and here's where the spoiler comes, admits to being the one who killed her, saying that the girl was making a play for him, blah blah blah, and he starts breaking down crying, and then we have the scene where normally Jack Lord would turn to Danny Williams, the character Dano, and say, "Book him, Dano." It doesn't happen. It's very let down. So it's kind of bad writing, in my opinion. You know, you don't usually, when these police procedurals, the whodunits, the killer is in the episode from the beginning, and there's multiple possibilities, so that you at home can sit back and think, well, let's see, who did it? Was it the father? Was it the hippie boyfriend? No, it was some random photographer who wasn't in the episode up until the end. So in that sense, the episode was a letdown. But as far as being able to see an episode, I had seen every episode of Hawaii Five-0 except this one until tonight. And now I can honestly say I've seen every episode of the original Hawaii Five-0. And although it was a great series, this one, the fact that this one is missing from the DVD set isn't the biggest deal in the world. It's more enticing to have this episode because it's banned, because people won't let it be released. And now we are 50 years past this. There are episodes out in the world on other TV shows that deal with much more serious things and stupid kids doing stupid things. I think it's about time CBS or whoever owns it now, go ahead, especially with the newer version of Hawaii Five-0 ending this season, go ahead and release this episode so we can get a nice, crisp, pristine quality of this episode. So that's my thoughts. That's my review of the original Hawaii Five-0 Season 2 episode. Let me see what episode it was real quick. Nope, I'm in the wrong group. Classic TV and film. Okay. Nope, that is Word or something else. And by the way, that Hawaii Five-0 song, the original theme, they've juiced it up on the new one, but that original theme is amazing. It really is. I mean, it's one of the greatest. You hear bands play it all the time. I can't get anything to load. I know exactly. Here we go. Okay. It is Season 2, Episode number 16. Okay. Oh, here's the little footnote on the Wikipedia page. This episode was barred from airing in syndication after a viewer reportedly imitated the deadly yoga technique featured in the episode and died. This episode is absent from both the Season 2 DVD release and the complete series set, as well as from online streaming and digital downloads. Okay. So she was a yoga student, according to this, but she was also a model. So what was life like on January 7th, 1970? Well, it was a Wednesday. In professional wrestling, thanks to CageMatch.net, NWA champion Dory Funk Jr. defended his title. Oh, Wahoo McDaniel was in wrestling by then. Stampede? Was it Stampede? Hey, Brownie, wake up. My dog is barking in her sleep. Yes. Nope, that's not it. The NWA wasn't a one-time event like WWF is, but yet more of a conglomerate of organizations. I don't know why I am clicking on all the wrong ones and not. I probably have no viewers. Oh, I do. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Okay. Sure, it's the last one, the one I didn't click on. Dory Funk Jr. defended the NWA World Heavyweight title in Lubbock, Texas, in a best 2 out of 3 falls match against Dusty Rhodes. Funk would win 2-1. WWF World Champion Bruno Sammartino did not wrestle on January 7th, and AWA, who was AWA World Champion at the time? AWA, let's see. AWA. Sorry, I'm not prepared. We're 4 days away from the Super Bowl while I'm looking this stuff up. Super Bowl 4 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings. AWA Heavyweight Championship. Oh, not the one I want. AWA World Heavyweight Championship. There we go. Okay. Title reigns. It is Vern Gagne in his 9th title reign. Okay, so that's the wrestling landscape on January 7th, 1970. Richard Nixon is the president. The number 1 song in the U.S. was Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas, while in the U.K., Two Little Boys by Rolf Harris, I don't know what that song is the number 1 song. If you were going to the movies in that time frame, you might go see Pippi in the South Seas, starring Inger Nielsen and Maria Persson. You might see Bloodthirsty Butchers, starring John Miranda and Annabelle Wood. Moon 02, starring James Olsen and Catherine Schnell. Or what about Anthony Quinn in The Secret of Santa Vittoria? And there's another Pippi. Pippi Goes on Board. So there's a couple Pippi movies out there. Is that like Pippi Longstockings? Let's see, it's the feast day of St. Raymond. Famous birthdays. Born on January 7th, 1970. Todd Day, American basketball player and coach. Diane Muir. Frank Cliff Mannon in Amarillo. And future Seattle Seahawks safety Darrell Williams. Also on this day, farmer sue Max Yasker for $35,000 in damages caused by Woodstock the previous summer. So Woodstock is more than just a music festival. It was also damaging to the plants and vegetation for the farmers. Let's see, other top songs by Diana Ross and the Supremes, Peter, Paul, and Mary. The Jackson 5 is I Want You Back. Led Zeppelin's in the top 5 with Whole Lotta Love. Creedence Clearwater Revival comes at number 7 with Down in the Corner. Down in the Corner. No, it's not it. And some others. TV shows, Manhunt, I don't know. The TV shows seem broken on this thing. This is Take Me Back 2. Magazine, and okay, Crystal Cave. Books, The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. Michael Crichton with The Andromeda Strain. That's a good book. Ernest Hemingway's Islands in the Stream. Mary Renault with Fire from Heaven, and Irving Wallace with The 7 Minutes. So there's just a little glimpse at life in 1970. Of course, I said we're 4 days away from the Super Bowl between the 13-3 Kansas City Chiefs and the 14-2 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are favored to win. Let's see if they have the Vikings are favored to win by 12. So they should blow out the Chiefs according to the Vegas professionals. Let's take a look at scores around the NBA on January 7th, 1970. It was the Baltimore Bullets over the Detroit Pistons, 121-116. The Atlanta Hawks beat the Boston Celtics, 112-106. The Milwaukee Bucks destroyed the Cincinnati Royals, 138-119. The New York Knicks over the San Francisco Warriors, 99-94. That's your action in the NWA on this Wednesday, January 7th, 1970. In the ABA, that's right, there are 2 professional leagues. In the ABA, you got the Denver Rockets over the Washington Capitals. I thought they played hockey. 129-118. The Dallas Chaparrals defeated the Los Angeles Stars 114-112. And it was the Pittsburgh Pipers over the New York Nets. No, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. The New York Nets over the Pittsburgh Pipers 133-124. And okay, college basketball. See, I don't like the problem with this pro football, or not pro football, but Sports Reference for college basketball. So they don't have schedules. So let's see, the AP poll. On January 6th, so the night before this, Duke was 19th in the nation. Who was number one? The UCLA is number one. Of course, they'll be number one right up until the March 3rd poll. Number two team is Kentucky. Number three is South Carolina. Number four is North Carolina. Number five is St. Bonaventure. Number six is New Mexico State, powerhouse in basketball for sure. Number seven is Jacksonville. And blah, blah. Number eight is Davidson. Number 9 is Ohio, and rounding out the top 10 at number 10 is North Carolina State. And hockey. Hockey scores for January 7th, 1970. Let's see. The Chicago Blackhawks just absolutely destroyed the Detroit Red Wings 7-0. It was the Boston Bruins 6, the Oakland Seals 1, the New York Rangers 5, the Pittsburgh Penguins 3, and skating to a tie, Philadelphia Flyers and St. Louis Blues. The Minnesota North Stars and the Toronto Maple Leafs also skated to a 3-3 tie. What else do we got? Oh, Sports Illustrated. Okay, yesterday I tried to show the covers on my phone, but I don't really think it came off too well. So let me just explain to you what's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. What you have here is the title. It says Minnesota and Cleveland on top for January 5th, 1970. Osborne dives over Rams for a score. And I show a picture of Dave Osborne jumping over Deacon Jones for the touchdown in a very muddy Minnesota field as they advance to, this would be advancing to play Cleveland for the NFL championship. And of course, the Sports Illustrated is dated the day after the Vikings beat Cleveland, but they actually, most subscribers got it before. So it works out fine that way. TV listings. Okay, if you were to watch TV that night on ABC, a brand new episode of The Courtship of Eddie's Father, how do you know if it's really love? At 8 o'clock, followed by at 8:30, Room 222, a new episode entitled Operation Sandpile, followed by local programming. CBS would have local programming till 8:30 when they would air a new Beverly Hillbillies with the episode entitled The Clampett Hughes Empire. At 9 p.m., Medical Center with the episode Deceived, followed by Hawaii Five-0, Bored She Hung Herself. And on NBC at 8 o'clock, you got The Virginian. You Can't Lead a Horse to Water is the title of that episode. It doesn't say who was on talk shows throughout the day. Of course, it doesn't go in any talk shows, so I don't know who would have been on the Late Show, the Late Show, and all that good stuff. Oh, Weather Almanac. Now you can go to almanac.com /weather/history/ and put in the zip code so you can find out what the weather was like in your town. But in my hometown of Saranac Lake, let me see if I can put in my current town, not my hometown. You entered an invalid zip code. 129. Okay, weather history for Saranac Lake, New York. Actually comes from the Plattsburgh International Airport. It got down to a minimum of -3 that night with a high of 13. So that was very cold up in the Adirondacks that day. There was no data on snow. We had winds gusting up to 9.21. It says a maximum wind gust of 999 miles per hour. Holy crap, if anybody's still alive from that day, tell me about it. That's some serious wind. I don't think it's accurate. And finally, let's take a look at January. Wikipedia. See what big things are entering. January 1st is something called Unix Time Epic reached 0. I don't know what that means. I'm not a follower of Unix Time. January 5th, the 7.1 magnitude Tongai earthquake shakes Tongai County, Yunnan Province in China with a maximum Mercalli intensity of X. 14th Between 10 to 14,000 were killed and 26,000 injured. That was on Monday. Holy cow. Also on Monday, the first episode of the United States soap opera All My Children was broadcast on ABC. Soap operas were the afternoon viewing of Housewives at the time. Now you can catch them on demand whenever you want. On TV Guide that day, or that January 3rd edition of TV Guide, had a television camera. It looked like it was shot from a wide-angle lens because it was kind of angled. And it says, here come the 70s. How they will change the way you live. A special 15-page forecast. Well, I would love to get that. It's 15 cents, by the way, for that TV Guide. Would love to find that issue of TV Guide. So if anybody has the issue and would love to upload it, I would love to see it. I'd love to read that special on how the 70s are going to change. Here is, speaking of TV Guide, here is the synopsis for the Hawaii Five-0 episode I just reviewed. Bored, she hung herself. A young girl's supposed suicide makes Steve suspicious. Was she under the diabolic influence of her mystic boyfriend, or was it murder? Steve, starring Jack Lord, Danny, James MacArthur. Kono is played by Zulu, Chin-ho by Cam Fong, and Jenny by Peggy Ryan. Guest cast: Don by Don Quinn, Parker by William Smithers, Weatherly by Eugene McDonough, and Wanda, Pamela Murphy. Wanda, of course, the victim in that episode. Time Life. Looks like it has a special double issue into the 70s. Some kind of far out. The world's within your body. Okay. And it was 60 cents for the episode. So if you got Time Life, it was 60 cents. If you got TV Guide, it was 15 cents. And I don't know what Sports Illustrated was. So anyway, that's my retro review for Hawaii Five-0. If you'd like to watch that episode, you can find it if you search really hard. That's what I did. It's not a crisp, clear quality version of Hawaii Five-0. It's not the DVD release that you'd get, but it's a good one. Tomorrow, I'm going to be coming to you. I'm going to be going back into my NFL offseason. We're going to talk a retro review of the 1980 game between the Battle of the Unbeatens in Week 5 between the Buffalo Bills and the San Diego Chargers. So if you're into that, make sure you check out my channel. Click like, click subscribe, share, and tell your friends. Tell your foes. Tell everybody you want to tell. Until then, I'm Vinny Vincent. God bless America.